all the way. He really liked to see those sceneries.
本当皆さんにとってはまあ当たり前のように見ている、まあなんていうのかな、田園風景であったりとか、馬がいたりとか、もちろん牛もいるのかな、そういったもう、あともう家、そして石でできた石塀というのかな、ブロックみたいな、もうそれがね、全てがもう日本ではもうない、非常にファンタジー、もうまさにファンタジーだと思っています。
I think for you guys is totally normal scenery here, but for me it's just the countryside watching the horse, sheep, cow stuff, or like small houses, or just greens, or like especially those stone walls is like fantasy.
はい、もう無理でしたね。通過するのは。もう帰りのダブルに戻る際もできればそれをずっと眺めていたいなと思っています。
So he was hoping he can watch those sceneries again, but this time the on the way here was during night time, and on the way go back to Dublin is night time too, so he can't see anything this time.
Maybe next time.
Anyone have anything you want to ask? Oh. Here, go to you then, Mr. Flashing Lights.
Somewhat related to the previous questions, in Fractale, you had a story based partially on Galway and Ireland with a sci-fi fantasy setting. If you were to set a story in Ireland again for your next animation project, what possible genre would you pick? Like maybe mystery, history, maybe something along those lines? What kind of genre?
Ah, もうこれは結構今回の訪問でいろんな人と本当ビジネスベースで話をしてるんですけど、本当にフェアリー妖精と出会う話、簡単に言うとアイルランド版隣のトトロを作りたいと思っています。
So this time he met lots of people on business-wise, and people are asking him to make animation based on Ireland and stuff. But this time he wants to do with fairy and somebody meet fairy kind of storyline. And he says, let's say Totoro Irish version.
なかなかね、これは日本で作るのは難しくて、結構何年もどれくらいかな、5、6年はずっと考えているんですけども、まあね、日本で作れないならアイルランドで作ればいいじゃないみたいなお話もあります。
So he thinks it's very difficult to make that kind of animation at the moment in Japan, that fairly kind of storyline in Japan. So now he thinks, if it's difficult in Japan, why don't I make it in here, Ireland?
その際には多分ゴールに住むと思うので、皆さんお世話になります。
So then I might live here. So when that happens, please be nice to me.
ありがとう。
Is there anyone else? Okay, cool.
Do you have any other future ambition for the future activity? 将来野望は他に何かありますか？
野望？
全体的にってことですか？アニメでってことですか？アニメで。
皆さんがどこまで京アニの話を知ってるかわからないんですけども、本当に去年の7月に僕の仲間たち、お世話になった先生、先輩、いろんな方が亡くなったんですね。
So, do you know about Kyoto Animation's fire incident? Yes. So the last July, and he lost lots of friends and teachers there.
なので実はもうアニメやめようかなと思ってたんですね。
He was actually thinking he might quit animation.
それくらいアニメっていうのはもう大変な作業だというのはもう20年、僕22年もやってるんですけども、もうそろそろ体にガタが来たなと思ってやめようって思ってました。
Because to make animation is very, very hard work, and he's been doing that 22 years, and he thinks it's time and because very hard for himself, his body and everything, so he was thinking to quit.
でまさにそう思ってた瞬間に事件が起きて、17歳上なんですね、先生が。その先生が亡くなったんですね。
So while he was thinking that, then that incident happened, and his teacher he mentioned earlier was killed. And he was 70 years older than Yamamoto.
でその時に僕が思ったのは、もうこれはもう運命だと。要は62歳で僕の先生が死んだのであれば、まずは62歳までアニメを作らねばと思いました。
So his teacher was killed when he was 62 years old. So he thought it's a fate this time. Now it's a fate. So he has to go on until he gets 62 years old.
だからね、野望っていうよりかは、とにかくどんだけ苦しくても、どんだけ体がボロボロになってもアニメを作り続けるっていうのがもう僕の野望というよりかはもう使命ですね。
So not like ambition, but now he thinks he has to continue until 62 years old, and that's a fate.
で皆さんご存知かもしれないですけども、次の企画がもう決定っていうのが発表してます。
So next project is already decided, and it's already on a paper or yeah.
でタイトルは魔法少女たちだから The Witches なのかな。こっちのいやそうだ Witch があるんですかな。なのでちょっと全部日本語のアナウンスになっちゃうんですけど、興味あったら検索してみてください。
So the next project name is The Witches and 魔法少女たち, but he doesn't know the English title yet, but could be witches or could be witch girls. So all the website now is only Japanese, but if you wanna see it, please check.
It's nice to know that we're going to continue to get great work from Yamamoto. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to check and ask them? I'd actually like to ask about the question about Ireland again. You mentioned wanting to make it based around fairies, almost like Totoro, but in Ireland. Why is it you want to go with fairies for an Irish project? Is it because of Ireland's history or some other reason?
ですね、今回ミーティングをしてフェアリーってディズニー的なものを考えたんですよ。どうやら違うらしいですね。だからそこでちょっとプランが変わっちゃったんですけど、でも1回はそういったそのアイルランドの風土に合ったストーリーってなるとやっぱりフェアリーなんだろうなっていうのを考えてました。
So because it's Ireland, so he was thinking fairy, but he was actually thinking about fairy, the kind of Disney style, not like Irish fairy style. But he had meetings with people here, so now he thinks he wanna do the Irish style fairy because it's Irish history and fairy story here. So.
具体的に言うとね、前回明日も訪れるんですけど、実は 明日も伺うんですけど、キャスルエレントハウス、あそこを伺った時に、あそこを舞台にしてもうね、どっから見てもトトロだなっていうのを感じたので、ぜひあそこを使ってみたいと思ってます。
So he visited the castle and Castle Ellen's house, and then when he saw that castle, then he thought, oh, that's really Totoro. So he wants to use that castle to make animation about fairy.
多分日本人の宮崎さんも実は、トトロとか魔女の宅急便あたりでアイルランド何回か訪れてるんですよ。
So Hayao Miyazaki actually came to visit Ireland before he made the Totoro and the Kiki's delivery service.
だから日本のクリエイターにとっての一種の憧れなんでしょうね。
So I think, like he thinks, for the Japanese anime creators, Ireland is kind of the place to visit, and they want to make some stories based on Ireland.
So you'd say that Ireland is really a place for writers who want to do animation about sort of mystical things? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. で僕はもう特にジブリと宮崎駿さんの影響を強く受けてて、まあそれも含めて一回はやってみたいっていうね。
So especially he admires Hayao Miyazaki and Ghibli, and so he wanted to do that kind of fairy story like at least once.
でそれをねフラクタルでやろうとしたんですけど、なんか小難しい話になっちゃったので、今回はもっとシンプルに本当にトトロのように出会ってね楽しんでっていう作品にしようと思ってます。
So first he was thinking that kind of fairy story he would make before he made Fractal, but Fractal went to a bit different direction. So this time he wants to do the fairy story more like simple Totoro style and just meet the fairy and then have fun kind of that story. Fantasies.
Yeah. Is that over, or is that the 10 minutes? Okay, cool. You have a question in the back there, in the corner. This guy again.
Hi again. You are comparing a lot of things with Totoro and Ireland. There is an Irish animation film that I think resembles Spirited Away and Ghibli movies a lot called Song of the Sea, and it's made in Ireland. And I was wondering if you had heard of it or seen it, because it is a wonderful film and it may provide some insight or some inspiration for another project.
He hasn't watched it yet, but he heard about it and he is going to see.
多分今後ね本当に具体的に活躍するから絶対見て参考にすると思います。
He's thinking to watch that because he's going to make the movie here, so before that he needs to see his.
Okay guys, we've got time for a couple more questions. If anybody has some more. Yeah, 10 minutes left. So yeah, you in the front, so you first. I think I was first too.
What have been your greatest obstacles in becoming a successful animated actor until this point? Like you mentioned that you weren't really a mangaka before you started, right? And then you were met with some opposition for that. So apart from that, what have been the greatest kind of hurdles you've had to overcome?
ね。宮崎駿、宮崎、功高畑、吉行富野。で、この3人がもう日本のアニメを作ったと言っていいと思います。
So only three people that he admired is Hayao Miyazaki, Isao Takahata,
あとは富野義行さん。
Yoshiyuki Tomino, and he thinks you can say those three people made Japanese animation.
でそれにもう一人足すとしたらこの世界の片隅にいるっていう作品で、これまた世界中で有名になった片渕素直監督ですね。砂尾片渕。
砂尾片渕で Have you heard この世界の片隅に I don't know that. But この世界の片隅。
今わかんないけど。
No. このそばじゃないです。違います。
このそばどの。
So if he adds like one more person, so that's him.
広島を舞台にした広島戦時中の広島の、原爆ですね、をテーマにした作品です。
So he made a story about the atomic bomb in Hiroshima.
で日本ではまさに片渕さんが要は宮崎さんと高畑さんの、弟子に当たる人なんですね。
So he studied under Hayao Miyazaki and Isao Takahata.
で日本ではもうネクストジェネレーションということで、今わかりますか、ポスト宮崎、ポスト高畑って言われています。
So in Japan, he was called post Miyazaki, post Takahata, so he is the one to watch.
もっとわかりやすい名前を出すと、多分あれ新海さんの方がいいですね。誠新海。
Yes, so have you heard about Mr. Shinkai? Makoto Shinkai? Yes, so and if another one, then that's him.
ただ
In this corner of the world.
この世界の片隅。
Have you heard?
ただ新海さんの真似をしたいとは思ってません。
But he doesn't want to copy them.
そのくらいかな。日本のアニメっていうのはもう意外と発達してるより僕はしてないと思ってるんで、実はこの辺の名前で、僕も含めて他はあんまり大したことないって言ったら大したことない意外と日本のアニメはそんなに発展してないと僕は思ってます。
He thinks Japanese animation is not that advanced yet, so he thinks those the people he mentioned, that's it.
それよりかはもう本当にアメリカ、そして中国ですね、チャイナ、そしてヨーロッパ、が着実に力をつけているので、日本のアニメはもう本当にそろそろ危ないと思っています。
So he thinks Japanese animation is which they need to worry about, because now in US and China and Europe, all animation creators are getting much stronger. So Japanese creators has to be worried a bit.
I think we have time for one or two more. I believe there's one in the middle there. Want to ask last time?
Your Mambo shoujo anime, what sort of tone is it? Is it light-hearted like Precure, or is it more dark like Madoka?
一応デザイン的にはビジュアル的にはプリキュアを考えています。
The visual wise, maybe a bit look like Precure.
あとわかるかな、マドカマギカ。
Do you know Madoka Magica?
そういう感じのビジュアル。
ただし中身は相当ダークですね。
So, and the visual-wise, it's like Precure or Madoka Magica, but storyline would be different, more like dark.
この大体の説明をしたときにジョーカーそっくりだねって言いました。
So he explained about storyline and stuff, and somebody told him it's like Joker.
だからあんなすごいものになると思います。
So it's quite dark.
Yeah, まずはそのジョーカーみたいな作品を置いといて、明日やる覚悟っていう作品は本当にもうそれとはもう打って変わって本当に純粋でシンプルでピュアな作品になっている。僕の作品の中でも特別に、実は学生の時に浮かんだんですよね。学生の時のそのピュアな気持ちをそのまま、おっさんになった僕は再現しているっていう作品なので、若い人に見てほしいなと思ってます。
Tomorrow there is a screening of Hakubo, and there I just mentioned about next movie about witches and very dark storyline. But Hakubo is, however, it's very pure storyline. And actually, when I was in school student, and he came up with the idea. And now he thinks he got older, but he made it with that pure, remembering pure idea. So please come to watch.
Okay, I think that's all the time we have. So thank you guys all so much for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys all got to ask everything you wanted to ask. Thank you very much.